but you also have to be able to speak Klingon to your team and speak English to everybody else. And I think that is a very difficult, it's an easy thing to say, and it's a very difficult thing to actually practice, because you are so set in your own vernacular that you don't think about, from a business standpoint, how your audience is going to internalize all that tech jargon you just threw at them at all, right? So you really have to think about your role as communications, a very, very large part of that, and you've got to be really good at the translation of whatever that technical thing is to a risk that a board member could understand or that the CEO could understand is just like any other business risk, and here's the probability of this risk happening, here's the impact if it did. Context and implications is how I sort of, the two most important words are context and implications, but it's really just recognizing that it's a business problem. You have to present it as a business problem, and then that will help you be successful in getting the funding you need, getting the staffing you need, getting the speed to close down that risk and the support to have that speed. And I'd say that's really the number one thing. If I had to say another two or three things, the second would be to ensure that you've got a really good team underneath you, and that they are then growing people that are keeping up with this stuff. So the workforce development cannot be underestimated. The amount of training, there's a new type of weather every quarter, and none of the other types of weather patterns ever go away on our planet. So we have to be able to keep up with that, keep up with the training, keep up with the workforce development. And the last thing I would say is you have to assume that you are going to fail at prevention, and put a very large focus on detective controls, making sure that you've got visibility into what's going on in the network, where is your data, how well are you protecting it, but then also assume that you're going to completely fail and exercise your program regularly to ensure that if you did fail, you have a really good, well-honed response. You know what you're going to say to the media, you know what you're going to be doing with external counsel, you know what you're going to be doing in the broader landscape where you might be pulling in forensic experts, et cetera. You really need to not just be focused on, hey, I've put in a firewall, so all this stuff is good, right? No, it's a lot more than just prevention. You have to have detective and responsive type controls. In addition to best practices are really saying, think about cyber insurance now as well. That was a market that really didn't exist 10 years ago, and now Dr. Poneman just shared with me this morning, it's something around 40% of companies actually have a fairly sizable cyber insurance policy that's supplemental to their information security program. It doesn't replace the program.